Welcome to this overview of the UNIDROIT Legislative Guide on Bank Liquidation, a practical tool to support legislators and policymakers in developing effective legal frameworks for the liquidation of banks. The Legislative Guide was formally adopted by the UNIDROIT Governing Council in May 2025, marking a major step forward in strengthening international cooperation and legal certainty in this complex field. It complements existing international standards by focusing on banks that are non-systemic at the point of failure and on the wind down of specific parts of a bank during or after resolution. Following the global financial crisis starting in 2007, there was a critical need to develop frameworks for resolving banks whose failure could cause systemic disruption. The Financial Stability Board's key attributes of effective resolution regimes for financial institutions set an international standard for bank resolution.
The UNIDROIT Legislative Guide fills an important gap by addressing the orderly liquidation of banks that are not systemically critical, but still require tailored approaches due to their unique role and public policy importance. It offers adaptable guidance designed to fit different legal systems, taking into account local context.
The Legislative Guide was developed through a collaborative process involving experts in insolvency and bank failure management, in partnership with the Financial Stability Institute of the Bank for International Settlements. Contributions from a broad range of global stakeholders, including banking supervisors, deposit insurers, and resolution authorities, were key to its success. Its adoption by UNIDROIT's Governing Council reflects broad international consensus on its value as a flexible and effective resource.
The Legislative Guide is organized into 10 chapters, each addressing a specific thematic area with clear explanations and 105 practical recommendations. These recommendations help lawmakers design tailored bank liquidation frameworks that promote value preservation and maximization, depositor protection, financial stability, avoiding loss to public funds, and certainty and predictability.
Chapter 1 introduces the Guide's purpose and scope. It underscores the need for tailored bank liquidation regimes, as general insolvency laws are not designed for the unique features of banks and the public policy concerns that their failure can raise. It also outlines different types of legal frameworks for bank failure management. It defines key objectives of an effective bank liquidation framework: value preservation and maximization, depositor protection, financial stability, avoiding loss to public funds, and certainty and predictability. Chapter 2 addresses institutional arrangements. Bank liquidation proceedings may be overseen by an administrative authority or a court. The chapter identifies factors to consider when selecting the appropriate model and outlines the advantages of an administrative approach. It also offers guidance for primarily court-based systems, emphasizing the need for banking authorities to play a central role, especially when deciding whether a bank is failing and which tools to apply.
Chapter 3 focuses on procedural aspects of liquidation. It covers the process from pre-liquidation duties of a failing bank to the opening of proceedings, appointment, oversight, and accountability of the liquidator, and the eventual closure of the process. The chapter calls for tailored creditor participation mechanisms to reflect the unique nature of banks and the urgency often required in decision-making. Chapter 4 emphasizes the importance of preparation and contingency planning. It highlights the need for early and close cooperation among all relevant stakeholders, including the bank itself, authorities, and courts, regardless of the institutional model in place.
Chapter 5 covers the grounds for initiating bank liquidation proceedings, recommending a broader approach than traditional insolvency standards. It advocates for forward-looking criteria, with the concept of non-viability or likely non-viability as a guiding principle to allow timely intervention. It also recommends clear coordination between license revocation and liquidation, and coordination between resolution and liquidation conditions to prevent legal uncertainty. Chapter 6 offers guidance on liquidation tools and powers. It places particular emphasis on the transfer of a failing bank's assets and liabilities to another bank, or sale as a going concern. It outlines necessary adjustments to general business insolvency law to account for the specificities of banks in the event of a piecemeal liquidation. The chapter also addresses the treatment of financial contracts in bank liquidation.
Chapter 7 discusses the role of deposit insurance funds. advocating for their use not only to pay out insured depositors, but also to support sales as a going concern. It stresses that public funds should not be used for the liquidation of non-systemic banks. Chapter 8 covers creditor hierarchy. It discusses the ranking of depositor claims, including interbank deposits and related party deposits. It also addresses the subordination of certain claims, the ranking of resolution funding and post-liquidation financing, shareholder treatment, and secured claims.
Chapter 9 addresses the liquidation of banks that are part of a group. It explains how legal and operational obstacles can be avoided if only part of a group is being liquidated, and it promotes coordination between authorities and liquidators involved in liquidating different group entities. Chapter 10 discusses cross-border bank liquidation. It provides guidance on international cooperation, the recognition of foreign proceedings and supportive measures, and safeguards to ensure a fair and effective cross-border process.
The UNIDROIT Legislative Guide on Bank Liquidation offers practical guidance to support legislators and policymakers worldwide in designing bank liquidation regimes that are clear, effective, and tailored to the special nature of banks. It complements existing international standards and facilitates cooperation across different jurisdictions to manage bank failures efficiently. By promoting clarity, predictability, efficiency, and cooperation, the guide helps reduce the economic and social costs of bank failures, strengthening bank liquidation frameworks around the world. UNIDROIT encourages all countries to consider implementing the legislative guide's recommendations to strengthen their frameworks, protect depositors, and enhance legal certainty. UNIDROIT remains available to support stakeholders in exploring implementation and integration into national legal systems. Learn more at unidroit.org.